All right, everybody. It is time for Ask an E-commerce Specialist over here at Sales and Orders. And with me today is Julie Winocur. And Julie is one of our absolutely probably one of the most fantastic human beings I've ever gotten to meet. For those of you who don't know, kind of testament to how close-knit of a family we are here at Sales and Orders, that Julie, would you like to tell them how far you and I go back?
Yeah, we actually go back to the fourth grade.
Whoa.
All the way when I moved here from Westchester. I've known Tony for a long time, and I actually recruited him to my old company, and then he recruited me back, and now we're both at Sales and Orders.
There you go. Yeah, so Julie and I have actually, we grew up together. We've been working together for many, many years now. Julie is also the supervisor of our managed services team over here at Sales and Orders. So, our managed services team, they help customers, e-commerce retailers specifically, manage their shopping campaigns on Facebook, Bing, and plenty of other things too. I know, Julie, you specialize in text ads especially. Now, with everything that's going on with coronavirus, is there anything that you think you have seen, very specifically? Have you noticed anything that, trends and with your customers, or how retailers are kind of dealing with some of the things that are going on right now?
Yeah, we've definitely noticed different trends across particular verticals, especially in any kind of wholesale of baked goods. So we're seeing one of my clients, for example, they have a lot of baked goods that are wholesale, and such as flour that's flying off the shelf. But at the same time, we're seeing weird searches like masks and things come into their site now that they weren't seeing before. So along with flour, you'll see flour with guarded masks, and it's a little strange. So we'll be adding negatives based on that. For the most part, they've actually quadrupled in traffic. So wow. It's really important that we stay on top of those search terms coming in. I look at that account daily, and we're always adding negatives, but at the same time, we're increasing budget. They're seeing revenue spike. I've seen a 400% increase in revenue and continued limited budget even when we're pushing. So it depends on the client. Some other verticals, such as cleaning supplies, are seeing something along the same lines where we're adding negatives daily. They're coming in with, all these branded terms for paper towels, napkins, wipes, things that we hadn't seen in the past, and they only have one product with this. But since there's such a high demand, we're having to really go in there with a, fine-tooth comb and make sure these terms aren't coming up now that the volume has increased so drastically. So
it definitely makes a lot of sense with what's going on. I mean, you're going to get a lot of that that broad term traffic, and a lot of those seemingly superfluous keywords that you weren't seeing normally. And you mentioned, obviously you're keeping up with negative keywords. Is there anything that you feel like e-commerce retailers should be focusing in on primarily right now, or whether it be with shopping campaigns or Facebook or anything along those lines?
Definitely the negative keywords. We're seeing a lot of things coming in for masks. I have a leather products account, and they sell masks for their face, but we're coming up with every medical term for masks. So just continue to look at that every day. It happened overnight. We were never showing for those terms in the past, and right now we spent $200 in a day, and you just got to be careful with those in particular. And then also, I would say the way the verbiage is on your ads, just make sure your titles are compliant to what Google's looking for, because you don't want to have anything misleading in those as well.
Right, of course. Yeah. So, and for anybody that doesn't know, recently, and maybe Julie, you didn't even get to hear about this, but Google actually just started lightening up their restrictions on COVID-19 and coronavirus terms within text ads. Whether that translates to the e-commerce industry, it could, I guess, for medical supplies. Certain retailers are selling certain goods. It could make sense for them to start leveraging the fact that they've eased up on those. But it seems like that they're primarily focusing like government institutions, education, so, things along those lines, or even nonprofits that are actively dealing with the COVID-19 outbreak. So it's definitely something interesting to look out for. Um, I've noticed that. I mean, on my end, I've noticed that remarketing is really starting to take off a lot more than it was previously. And I
Mhm.
don't know if that's just a natural curve as a result of more people shopping at home and not necessarily being able to purchase. We're all still waiting for our stimulus check at this point, right?
Right.
So I think people have an inherent fear of going into the store and purchasing outright until they have to kind of make sure that maybe they should focus on groceries first before they consider buying that
Mhm.
new leather handbag or whatever it might be. Um, but certainly, I think that the consumer behavior is really changing what we're seeing on the on shopping ads and even on Facebook and Instagram and everything along those lines. Are there any unique trends that you're seeing on that side?
I think that's a good point because we have been seeing a lot more traffic, and it's potentially for people that are just bored. They're sitting at home, they're surfing around the internet, and we have seen an increase in purchases, but at the same time, we're getting a lot more broad traffic. I've seen it even on some of my parts accounts where people are just selling lawnmower parts and things like that, but they're just searching the brand name at a much higher rate than we've ever seen in the past. And I even, reached out to someone the other day and they said, it's great to have that traffic, but we got to keep in mind, hey, we're on a budget. Hey, we're potentially cutting employees. We don't want to have too much traffic too. So we always got to keep all those perspectives in check.
Mm-hmm. And how are you holding up? That's what I want to know.
I'm doing okay.
Oh, by the way, for anybody to know, Julie literally lives like right down the block. She wait, no, she's that way. So she's actually right down the road, and it's just so funny that right. It's funny because we grew up together. We wound up going our separate ways and into our own career paths, and now we're suddenly working together again. And now we live in the same town, which is extremely weird. Um, but oddly enough, so we live in East Northport on Long Island, and it's actually one of the hardest hit
Mhm.
towns in all of Suffolk County over here, where we live. I think that's just crazy. You can see like all of us are now working from home. How
Yeah.
are you adapting to that, Julie? It hasn't changed much for me. I got my fish, so he keeps me company the whole time.
Yeah, I feel lucky because I adopted a puppy during this time, so he's keeping me pretty busy. He's asleep behind me, but
Oh,
yeah. So I feel like, that's distracting. Just keeping busy, working out, reading, looking at articles online. There's so many things changing in our industry. So, just keeping on top of all that stuff is pretty time consuming.
have you read anything recently, or anything interesting that you're reading right now? Do you think that has imparted some knowledge to you, or even imparted some knowledge, or at least helped you even impart knowledge to your customers?
I would say I've just been keeping up with the general articles. So a lot of people have been asking us about, hey, Google's potentially giving money to clients, and a lot of people have questions on that. And right now we don't know too much. We're looking into helping people, but from what we know right now, it's just going to be a notification on the individual account. So I think it's just important that we stay on top of that. Overall, some of the articles, though, I've seen interesting ones on verticals like pet supplies has made a huge increase, and just verticals that we never thought would take off are really doing well, and some of them are harder hit where medical accounts are actually doing worse because we can't get the supplies that we once had with the issues in China. And can you hear me? No.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, that was I don't know. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties there for a few moments. Oh my god. That's okay. We're back. I don't. It's my. I think it's my headset. Honestly, I should probably go buy a new one now that I'm stuck at home and I can go order
Yeah.
one. Right. Okay. That's cool though. No, so I mean, right. Touching on the articles, touching on the different verticals.
Mhm.
Certainly interesting that what I've seen, at least for the merchants that have had to at least, excuse me, at least they've had to stop or temper their advertising or potentially just kind of slow down a little bit, is because they just
Mhm.
can't fulfill. The
Right.
supply chains are down. Their suppliers are not. There's suppliers that are required to shut down. So they're, with all these state shutdowns. I know that we have some business owners have had to kind of put their businesses on hold as a result of just shutdowns here in New York, for example. And I think that's one of the greater impacts on the businesses is that the states are not allowing these non-essential retailers to continue to operate.
Right. Yeah. Like my boyfriend even works in the car industry, and the first thing that they had to make a cut was their marketing budget because right now they're considered sales department isn't essential. So that entire part isn't going to be functioning like it once was. So
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's a crazy time we're living in here. I mean, I'm working up here all day. I have the kids next door. Literally, the kids are literally right next to me right here. So it's certainly been an adjustment for everybody. Maybe more so for some others than a few of us. I mean, we have so many people that work remotely here at Sales and Orders. The majority of our staff does work in their HQ over in Bethpage, but the minute we saw this going in the direction it was, we shut down the office, and we've all been trying to practice our social distancing, right? Hashtag flatten the curve. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if there's has there been anything else interesting that you've noticed, Jules?
I mean, for the most part, it just is a little surprising some of the industries that are being hit. And then there's companies too that might want to go into other packaging or different kind of supplies that they could provide for clients. So I like that people are thinking outside the box. We have one client that sells meat products, and since they have such a high demand now in searches, they're doing packages for their clients that are related to this epidemic. So yeah, it's pretty interesting, and they're doing that on Instagram, they're doing it on Facebook, and then we can tie it into shopping by creating, these new packages, these quantity packs, and just hit every outlet. So
yeah, it's great. Now with the custom tagging system in the app, I'm sure that must make it a little bit easier. You can just pull out a CSV file, tag all your products, bring them back into the app, and then you as an account manager, you can leverage that almost any way possible.
Yep, that's exactly how we're doing it. And it's great because we could just focus on, right now they only have 4 products that they want to promote, and we could do it on Facebook, Instagram, and then hit it in another way for text ads and shopping, and combining all those different aspects together really pushes the marketing out on those.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, and I don't want to drag this out for too much longer, but I wanted to know if you have just that final little piece of advice that you could impart to retailers right now as they're facing these difficult times during the COVID-19 outbreak.
I think my biggest advice is similar to just thinking outside the box. How can I promote us as a forward-thinking company during this time when a lot of people don't necessarily have what knowledge and information that you could potentially reach out and help people with? So even just showing, hey, in our neighborhood, this outreach is going on. I think things like that are really important. And it just gives you credibility. It shows, hey, our company's not just out here trying to make sales on e-commerce or whatever outlet you may be in. I think, giving that humanity aspect is really, really right now the main thing.
I love it.
Yep.
And I've been kind of following up with, and anybody who is watching this, who's continue to watch our videos, my final piece of advice, and it's not going to change. It's not really advice; it's just a message. It's not going to change for quite some time, I think now. But it is really, I think everybody watching this and everybody at home and all our staff and everything, it really comes down to I want to say that everybody should be staying healthy, staying safe, and remain informed. And I think that the last part is probably the most important. Stay educated, stay up to date on your local news, stay up to date with what's going on in your local, in your state, in your federal government right now. Everybody overseas looking to do the same thing. We're really only going to be able to get through all of this together. So excited to come out at the other end, just be able to step outside my house and actually shake somebody's hand, or like finally go back into the office and work with other people as opposed to my fish.
What's their
But
names?
that's fishy. I only have one. I can't put anything else in there. He's a betta, and he will literally
Oh.
eat anything that goes into that tank. Yeah, it's not. And he has it's one fish for that giant tank.
Oh
Uh,
god.
yeah, but he's the happiest fish I've ever seen, I would think. But yeah, so Julie, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope everybody gets to learn something, and we'll be doing these a little bit more often now. Trying to do them every couple of days. I'm going to be bringing in more of our customer success specialists, and I'm excited to keep going here. Jules,
Yeah.
thank you so much again, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Yeah. Thanks, Tony. Everyone stay safe out there.
Yes, yes. All right. Bye bye.